Hey, what's up? I'm the Kind Assassin, and I'm finally back to talk about the final episode of Ahsoka Season 1. Now, I lied when I said I would be back next week. Join me next week for the final episode of Ahsoka, because obviously it's now 5 or 6 months later, and I'm finally getting around to talking about the last episode. I did watch the episode when it aired. I just got lazy and maybe forgot about this for a while, and I kept saying like I should do it and wrap it up, but I never did. So here I am, finally back, and honestly, I had to sort of rewatch the episode because I kind of forgot what happened. I mean, obviously I knew like the gist, but I forgot some of the details. So I rewatched it a little and I watched a little bit of the previous one, episode 7, to kind of catch myself up. And now that it's all kind of fresh in my memory, I just want to talk about some of the things that happened and kind of overall thoughts of the whole season. And now that I know what happened to Thrawn, obviously, there's going to be a season 2, so I want to talk about that too. All right, so in episode 7, so going back a little, I did notice that Sabine was still Sabining, and in episode 8, there was a little bit of that, but kind of a tiny bit of character development.
Sorry. I know.
Not only for her, but for Ahsoka, which I thought was out of kind of left field because they were kind of at it for a while and didn't seem like either one of them really believed in the other. I didn't think there was going to be a reconciliation, but that's pretty much how these things work, right? There's going to be a resolution between two main characters at the end of it all so that they can join forces and, resolve the issue. So there was somewhat of a touching scene between Ahsoka and Sabine where they kind of admit to each other why they were hesitant to really believe in the other person. So they decided they're going to put everything aside, leave the past in the past, and commit to the master-apprentice relationship.
No matter what happens next, I'm going to be there for you.
So that was nice. And also, it's cool to see two women supporting each other, partnering together, right, to make each other better. So even though Sabine was, to me, really just annoying and immature and just made weird decisions, like never telling Ezra what the hell happened, there was a little bit of a character development there for her and Ahsoka. Speaking of Ahsoka, during my kind of rewatch of episode 8, the robot guy, I don't remember his name, but he did kind of mention to Ezra or explain to Ezra what happened between Sabine and Ahsoka, how Ahsoka was afraid that Sabine was training to enhance her Jedi skills or use the Force for the wrong reasons, and the reasons being her whole entire planet or all of her race was completely destroyed when they like blew up the Mandalorian planet. So anyway, so the robot was explaining all this to Ezra, and that makes sense that Ahsoka didn't want to train someone who was eventually going to use their powers for evil reasons. So I guess, just she had a lot of baggage, and in this episode, they both seem to, just let it go and move forward. So anyways, getting back to the episode, started off with the witch scene, which I really dug because, I'm into like sort of, goth, emo, witchy stuff. And it's very different than anything I've seen in any of the shows or movies that I've ever watched. Well, I know there's not a lot of things that I know about this group of people, these witches, and there's a lot that happened in the shows that I don't know about. But so I like to see it here and in like real people doing it versus a cartoon. So anyway, so they gave Morgan like the witch powers, and she committed to them and committed even more so. I mean, she was already committed to Thrawn and their whole mission and their vision for the galaxy, but she like committed even more, and she got the powers and she got that sword thing, which I think it's called the Blade of Talzin, which I don't know what that means, but it's important. So that was a cool scene, and it really set the tone for the whole episode because later on in the episode, there's a whole zombie vibe. So definitely giving horror vibes in this episode, which I liked. Very different again than a lot of things that happen in Star Wars. So I liked it. I don't know if everyone else liked it or if they thought it was dumb that there was zombie stormtroopers. But I thought it was pretty cool, even though it's like zombie stormtroopers still are useless, right? I mean, Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka like beat them regardless. So, but it was cool to see that. There was a funny scene actually that happened when the Sabine and Ahsoka like reconciliation happened, where Ahsoka asked Sabine, like, "Are you training?" And Sabine's like, "I try." And then she's like, "I do, I do."
Have you kept up with your training?
I try. I do. I do.
It's kind of the throwback to Yoda, right? There is no try, there's only do, or something like that. I don't know the exact quote.
Do or do not. There is no try.
So that was like a nice little callback to the original movie that ever came out about Star Wars. Anyways, I mean, this episode was pretty kind of straightforward, right? Like, they need to get to Thrawn and try to stop him, and there's like stuff that happens to kind of slow down their progress, but I mean, they're the heroes, they're main characters, so they're not gonna die or be stopped, right? So even though their ship was messed up and they couldn't use a ship to fly there, they found like those dog horse things and they were riding over there. And then Thrawn's like, release hellfire upon them.
Rain hellfire upon them.
And like that didn't even do anything, right? There's like a few like blasts and they still like kept riding. And then Sabine like opened, I guess maybe Ezra was helping her, or Ahsoka, open the doors and they got through. So it's like, basically from the beginning of the movie to that part, like that was all that happened. They were trying to get there. So they get there and then they fight the stormtroopers and the zombie stormtroopers, and then they go to the top and they are fighting the lady with the stormtroopers, and they go, okay, so this part, I'm sure there's things that people have said about it, and I haven't read anything or seen anything about it, but I personally think it was funny that, Ezra ran and jumped and then Sabine pushed him with the force because she was so ineffectual with it. Effectual? Ineffective? She didn't even know how to use it right. She couldn't like move the spoon thing, or I don't know what thing it was back in the other episode. And suddenly she like could push him. So it's like, okay, I guess you have to have moments like that in these shows to continue the story. So, he gets to the thing and he's like, no, it's your turn. But then she decides to stay and help Ahsoka, which, I think that parallels a lot of things that have happened in this episode, like Morgan sacrificing herself for Thrawn because she believes in that. And then Sabine sacrificed her own freedom, really, because she really believes in Ahsoka now, right? She's more connected with her and decides, it's not about me, it's about what we're going to be doing together. So she stays and helps Ahsoka fight Morgan. Now, Morgan, I was sad that she died because I really liked her as a character, even though she was evil when she first came out in, was it Boba Fett or was it Mandalorian? Um, right, and she was like being ruthless in that town and stuff. But her resolve and her dedication and commitment and belief in a greater thing, I don't know, I just feel like she was a really strong character, and it was kind of sad when she realized what Thrawn was asking her when he said we need a little bit more time.
We require a little more time
I understand.
for the Empire.
She's like, God damn it, I have to stay now. And, the sisters or the witches like walked by her and she's just like, I'm doing this. But it seemed like she was like partly sad because she probably wanted to continue working with Thrawn and maybe seeing the victory that she wants, she believes is going to happen with him. But she sacrificed. She's like, fuck it, I'm going to have to stay here and like hold it down, and they're going to go, and I need to give them time to escape, and that's the whole point of why I'm here is, to help them escape. So that was kind of sad for her. Her fight scenes with Ahsoka, I liked them. Again, it's like a part two, right? Because they battled before. And, I usually go for the bad guys. So I was sad that she ended up losing and Sabine and Ahsoka won the day. But obviously, again, that's the whole point of the show. So, R.I.P. Morgan, you're a good cat. But Thrawn at least escaped. And again, I go for bad guys, and I like that he escaped because, again, I want to see more of him. I didn't want him to die a dumb death at the hands of Ahsoka or even Sabine. Oh my God, that would have been horrible if Sabine somehow killed him. I want to see more of him because of his his composure and his, he's always in control. He's so methodical and thoughtful and strategic. And, I want to see what he could do not being trapped on that planet, right? When he has more resources, more, I guess, support from the Empire. Like, what is he going to do, So I really want to see that. I'm looking forward to season 2 to see more of him. Anyways, he's gone. He's going to go back to the Empire and do his thing. And now Ahsoka and Sabine are trapped. Ezra did escape, and he got onto one of the planes and went to the green girl. I can't remember her name. And it's kind of weird that no one noticed like a ship leaving the ship. You'd think they would have tracked that, but whatever. So he gets back, and it was cute, the little reunion between the droid and Ezra. Like, the droid knew immediately it was him. He was all excited. And then, the reunion between Hera, that's right, Hera and Ezra. That was cool to see. So now they're going to join forces, obviously, and then go up against Thrawn. And I guess it makes sense that Thrawn and Ezra are going to be like the last ones to battle, and he might be the one to defeat Thrawn because he kind of did, and now maybe this is like the real defeating of Thrawn. I don't know, in season 2. Anyway, that's my prediction. Maybe Ezra is going to be the one to defeat Thrawn and not Ahsoka, because maybe she'll never leave the planet. She'll be stuck there forever. Speaking of being stuck there forever, I can't remember her name, the blonde girl. She's stuck there, right? Even Thrawn was like, if they gotta be stuck here, then that's, sucks for them, but I need to get out of here. So she's stuck there. She went to, I don't know what they are, the bandits of the planet, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna be your leader now. But it's like, what are they gonna do there? There's no, maybe they'll fight with Ahsoka and Sabine. I don't know. Which, I kind of feel like I wanted to see more of her in the Empire versus like stuck on a planet. So yeah, that's a bummer. And then the man, I don't know his name, he's over there on his quest, and he wants to go to the origins of everything. And since episode 8 came out last year, and now I've been kind of reading up and watching videos on all the backstory that I never had during the show. And so I kind of understand like the father and the daughter and the son. The owl makes an appearance, right? Something like that's meaningful because of Anakin, maybe? Anyway, so he wants to go back to the origin. So, like, what's going on with him? What's his story? So we need to learn about that in season 2. But anyways, that was kind of it. They didn't stop Thrawn. He's going to be part of the Empire again. What does this mean in terms of like the overall story of Star Wars or the universe? Like, because he isn't in any other thing, right? He's not in any of the movies or shows. So what time and place does he like do his thing? I don't know. So that'll be cool to watch. Just expanding the storytelling of this universe. So all in all, this show, I enjoyed it. I always like to see, new stories coming out of the Star Wars universe. The set design, the locations, all of that was new, and it was just really beautiful to see some of that because I wasn't, while watching it, really aware of all the backstory. It was hard to really get emotionally into it. It is still a fun little escape to pretend like you're not in your life, right? You're living this other life in this far, far away galaxy a long time ago. And it's just kind of like when I go to Star Wars Land in Disneyland. It's nice to have like a little escape, like you're pretending that you're not who you are, where you are, you're like somewhere else. So it's always fun to see that and watch that. So that's why I did enjoy Ahsoka. I'm really looking forward to season 2, seeing Thrawn again and, finding out what happens and what his contribution is and what his downfall is. I did like to see Anakin at the very end. He is my favorite character, like Anakin / Darth Vader. So it was cool to see him at the end. Anyways, that's it. That's my thoughts. Will I do the season 2? Probably not, because it's a lot of work, and I give it to everybody who does this all the time. Give it to you, Steve, who does this all the time. It's a lot of work, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it again. It was fun though, I enjoy doing these occasionally from time to time. It's fun to break me out of my normal day to day. But yeah, I don't know if I could do a whole other season. So I appreciate you following along, watching, commenting. It's always fun to interact with whoever watches this because, it's exciting to connect with people through this content. So thank you. And we'll see you on another video at some point. All right. Peace.